Alright, so today we're going to set up a VM in Unraid. We're going to use Debian to do it. And then I'm going to set up remote desktop where we can actually remote into that VM. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do the graphic card pass-through. So I'll show you how to set that up where you can utilize your graphic card on that VM itself. If that sounds good, stay tuned and join the fun. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is to download Debian. So we'll just go over here, hit Debian, and then we'll hit download. And it'll just start the download process, pretty straightforward. And while that's downloading, we're going to go over here to back to our Unraid. And we'll go over here to our shares. And then over here in our ISOs, we're going to click on that. And I have this upload button. So I'm going to hit upload. And then right here, this is in my downloads folder. And we already have Debian downloaded. So just click on that. And I'll hit open. And it will just start uploading it. And once that's done uploading, we'll continue the process. Alright, so this is uploaded. So we have the Debian right there. And we'll go over here to the virtual machines. Click on that, and we'll just add a VM. So as you notice, we can add like Windows, we can add different Linux distros, but we're doing Debian, so we'll just click on Debian. Over here, we have the icon. If you want, you can change the icon. I don't really feel the need to, so I'm just going to keep mine with Debian. You can auto start it if you want. Change the name. So I'm just going to change my name to Debian with GPU because eventually that's what I'm going to do on that. So we'll go down here, the CPU mode. We can do pass-through or we can emulate the CPUs. I just do pass-through and I'll just give it a couple of logical CPUs to do it that way. And then for the initial memory, I'm just going to go down here and give it 4096. You can give it how much you want. This is just what I'm doing. I keep all these settings the same. Down here where it says OS install, this is where it's reading my ISO folder, and this is the Debian that we downloaded, so we're just going to select that. And then we'll just go down here to primary vdisk size, and we'll click that, and I'm just going to go with 100 gigs. Keep the primary disk as raw, and just kind of go down here. I can rename the disk if I want to. I'm just going to keep it the same. And here's what the graphic card is. So this is virtual. You know, I can select my GeForce now. I just find it easier to set up remote desktop, keeping this as virtual, and then going back in later and then updating this to the graphic card. So we'll just kind of keep going down here. And then here's the sound card. If I want, I could put my regular sound card in there. What I don't want to do, I don't want to put in my graphic card sound card without setting it up here because you're not installing half your card. But for now, I'm just going to keep this as none. I'm going to keep my network settings the same and just come down here and hit create. And it's going to pop up my Unraid. And then I'm just going to go down and hit install. And then this is just going to take me through the install process. So just like English, United States, American English, and then, you know, go through. And this is just your regular install process. Nothing really, you know, too fancy here. It goes by pretty quick on here, so it's not really that bad. All right, so we'll ask you for your host name. I'm just going to name mine Debian, and I'm just going to put GPU. That way I just identify it on my network pretty easily, and then we'll just continue. And it's not really set up on a domain, so just continue. And then I never set up the root password. I just use the super user on there. So I'll just put in my user ID and then choose, whatever password you want, Once that's done, we'll just go ahead and continue. We'll go with Central Time. And then just wait till it starts, loading up stuff. And we have the guided use entire disk, and I'm using that virtual disk. And all files in one partition. And then finish. And then yes on the changes. And like I said, this is pretty painless. Alright, so now we can scan the installation. I'm just going to hit no on this because I don't need to do anything here. And then define a mirror, and I'm just using the regular default. You can choose one that's closer to you if you want to. And then I'm not going to do a proxy on this, so I'm just going to hit enter. And then we'll just continue going here. Alright, so here we have, over here, we're configuring the popularity contest. So I guess you want to, say yes and fill popular, you can. For me, I don't need that filling. So I'm just going to hit no and not be part of the popularity contest here. And then we'll just continue the install. And then here, what we're going to end up doing, let me think about this for a second, what I want to do. Alright, so I thought about it. For my install, I'm just going to take off no. And I'm going to go down here and then select the LXQT because I want a light version for my VM. And then we'll just go ahead and then continue on. And then we'll just, wait a little bit for this install to be done. Alright, so now we have the installation is complete. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm just going to drag this over here for a little bit out of the way. And down here, I can click on the Debian and look at it right here. And then we'll have the right here. We can eject the CD drive, so we'll go ahead and eject it. And then once it's ejected, then we'll come back over here and we'll just hit continue to reboot. And that's going to finish the installation, and then it's going to reboot the virtual machine. And just your normal startup, it's not really that big of a deal. And then just wait a second until we get to the login screen. And with the login screen, and we'll just, put in our password. And we will log in. And now I'm just going to blow this up a little bit. I can close out these little warnings. You can go in and set your own power settings at your time. Alright, so what we're going to end up doing over here is we're going to install XRDP where we can log into the machine. And to do that, we'll just go down here and then just click in, terminal. And I'm just going to use Q terminal right here. And I'll make this full screen and then make it a little bit bigger. This way you can see a little bit better. And then we'll just go into type in sudo, and then we're just going to do the app install. And then it's going to be the XRDP. And then it's going to ask for my sudo password, which is fine. It's fine. And then it's going to ask me if I want to continue. And of course I want to continue because I want this thing installed. So now that we have it going down, it will get installed here in a second. And then I want to do the IP address show. And what I want to do is I want to go down here and find my connection. So we can look through this, and it looks like I'm going to connect on the .58. So I'll go ahead and I'll connect that and inside the Windows Remote Desktop. But first, what we want to do before we do that is we want to log off, right? And apparently I can't remember that. So I'm just going to exit, and I'm just going to come down here, and I'm going to leave, and I'm just going to log out. And then once we're logged out, then I can go over here and then go to my remote desktop and go to my remote desktop connections for Windows. And that was like on 5.8, so I'm just going to put 5.8, and I'm going to hit connect. It's going to say yes, and that is going to bring me into the screen right here, where I'm just going to type in my user ID and password and hit OK. And then there we are. We're in the virtual machine using remote desktop for Windows. So the next thing we want to do is we're going to get this ready, and we're going to set up the video card. So to do that, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to leave here. Well, before I do that, I do want to show you something. So if we go to the terminal, I can type in nvidia, right, just to show you, like, say, it doesn't read any video cards or anything, which is fine because we don't have one installed. So we'll go down here, and we're just going to leave, and we're going to log out and hit yes. And then we're going to close that out. And I'm going to close this window out for my, actually what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to hit this button here, and I'm just going to power off the virtual machine. And then over here, I'm just going to hit refresh, and we see that the virtual machine is stopped. Alright, so now we're going to get into installing the graphic card on the virtual machine. So if I go back up here, I can stop the console, going back in. Once I set the graphic card, this VNC one's going to go away. So that's why I set this up first. That way I can remote desktop into it later. So if I go in here and I hit edit, what we want to do is go down here where it says the video graphic card right here. And then we want to select the GeForce 1060. Yours might be a different graphic card. That's okay. But take note into this number over here. Mine's 0100.0. And the reason we want to take note of that number is if you have multiple video cards, you want to know what sound card is tied to that video card, because we're installing the whole card. We're not installing like half the card. We're installing the full card. So if I go down here, I notice that my sound card, I have my 1060 here, and I have that 100.1, which is correct, and then that'd be 0.1 up here. So if I had multiple graphic cards, especially multiple graphic cards of the same kind, I make sure that I'm matching the right number up with the right number. Because again, we're not installing half the card and half the sound card. We're installing the full card because that's the way the machine expects that graphic card to be read in. And we just go down here and we hit update, and then it's updated, right? We have the graphic card in there, so we see right there it's installed. And you're like, whoa, that's simple. Well, it is, but we still got to do some configuration to get this thing to work in our virtual machine. All right, So here we are with our virtual machine. We're going to have to click down here. Notice that I can't, go and use the VNC to log into this anymore. That's because we got the video card installed. So we're just going to hit start, and that's the reason why we set up the remote desktop first, where we can actually log into this. So now that this is started, we can go back to our remote desktop, and then we're going to connect to that. Alright, so we'll go ahead and hit yes, and then we'll just go ahead and again we'll just put in our user ID and password. And then it fell. So maybe I just put in my password wrong. Okay, sorry, put in my password wrong. Alright, so now here we are back into our virtual machine. So what we want to do is go back here, and we'll go back to our terminal. And then we're going to blow this up a little bit so you guys can see better. And then again, we can do the nvidia-smi-l, and we're going to get nothing back, right? So it's not found. That's because it's not installed. And if we try and install the NVIDIA drivers like right now, it's going to fail because it doesn't know where to look for. So what we want to do is we want to go into our sources list, and then we'll just go etc/app/sources, if I can spell right, and then .list, right? Ask me for my password, it'd be okay. Guess they can have it. And then we're here. And what we want to do is these first two lines right here is at this very end. We'll just go to the very end right here. And we want to do contrib, and then we want to do non-free. And then we want to do the same right here, and we want to do contrib non-free. And that way we'll know where to look. And then we're just going to go ahead and save that. So I'm just going to hit Control-X, and I'm going to hit yes, and I'm going to hit enter. Alright, so now that our sources is update, right, what we want to do is just do an apt update, and then I'll do a sudo apt update. How about that? There we go. Alright, so all our packages are up to date, and then I'm going to do the sudo apt install the nvidia-driver firmware miscellaneous non-free, and then we'll go ahead and install that. And then it's going to ask me yes or no. I think it's going to be okay if we hit yes, so we'll just hit yes. And then this will just go ahead and complete this, install of the graphic card, because obviously, we want to use it. Because if we didn't, why would we be going through this process? So we'll just give this a second to finish installing. Alright, so it's going to give me a conflicting kernel module. That's fine. It's just the easiest way to fix this is to reboot the machine. So when the time is right, that's what we're going to do, right? But until then, we'll finish this install, and we'll just have to wait until we're done. Alright, so now that this is installed, remember we have to reboot it. So we're just going to do a sudo reboot, because I know what that command is. So we'll just give this a second to reboot, and then we'll log back in. Alright, now we gave it some time to reboot. We're just going to go ahead and hit connect to get back into our virtual machine, and we'll just type in our password, or user ID and password. but you get it. So now we're here. We'll go back down here to our terminal. All right, now we're in our terminal. Blow this up a little bit. Now when we do our nvidia-smi-l, okay, fingers crossed, this should work, right? You're with me? And it says invalid command. Oh, I got a space on my L. Don't put that space there. So this should work. There we go. So we know our GPU, we got the GeForce GTX 1060, and it's already installed. So installing your graphic card to work with your virtual machine in pass-through mode is easy as that. So now just got to think of something I want to run and play with this on. So if you have any ideas, just leave that in the comments below. And I guess I'll see you guys next time.